As we gear up for the Predators' return to the ice, a very special guest joins us for the Locked on Predators episode.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Locked on Predators podcast, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network. Thank you for making us your first stop of the day. We are your free daily Nashville Predators podcast. I want to start out by shouting out all of our Locked on Predators podcast community and our everydayers who tune in to chat all things Preds every day. My name is Jack Williams, and I am the host of the Locked on Predators podcast and the Nashville Predators beat writer for the hockey news. Before we get into it, I want to talk about our mailbag a little bit more on Mondays. Hey, we're starting mailbag Mondays. Want to get all of your guys' questions, all of your opinions, just about everything. Look for that Google form link, whatever, in the comments in the episode description. Send all your questions in, and we will get your questions going through on Monday. We have a very special guest today, Ivan Santamara, otherwise known as Predxican. I am thrilled to have him on today. Very excited. Ivan, man, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Jack. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I appreciate the opportunity. I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, staple to the Preds experience, staple to this organization. We're up into the press box, and then right along to the side, Ivan's right over there, just passionate every game. I mean, we want to start and talk a little about the origins of how this all started. I mean, that's one of the big questions I had. When did this all start? When did you want to get involved and just become the super fan that you've become? When did all of this start getting going?
So I lived in Memphis for quite a few years, and I became in love with the sport. Uh, Back in the early 90s, they had a small CHL team, it's what's called the Memphis Kings, and they were actually in the same division as the Nashville Knights and the Channel Cats, Nashville Channel Cats, and the Macon Whoopie, and all those guys, and Fort Wood Fire. So I just became so passionate about the sport that I remember one, I believe it was in 1996 when they went to Central Hockey League Championship, and I was driving back and forth between Fort Worth and in Memphis just to see those 5-game final series.
Right.
They ended up losing anyway, but anyway, that's where my passion for the sport begun. Then obviously it was announced that Nashville was bringing an NHL team, around 98, 97, somewhere around there when the round race started happening. So I was like, oh, my ears perked up, I was like, this is great. Uh, so I was start following that, right? And
Right.
I met my wife and actually in Memphis. She's from here, from Nashville, but I met her in Memphis, and she actually came to the very first game. But we started dating, and then she had season tickets, and then with another friend of hers, and then all of a sudden the friend of hers said, you know what, I'm getting married, I'm leaving the city. So she approached me and said, hey, you want to be you want to become a season ticket holder? I was still in Memphis, mind you, and I said, sure,
Right.
why not? So so that I started following the Preds probably around when I became a season ticket holder in 2003, and
Uh,
I was there for the first playoff against the Red Wings. I was there for a lot of ups and downs.
of
Uh,
course.
so, but the character Predxican actually came, I believe, in 2010 when we went to the second round playoff. And please check me on that. And it was a game against the Canucks
Okay.
in Cinco de Mayo.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
I got you.
fell in Cinco de Mayo. So I was like, hey, I got to hit my,
Of
get into
course.
my heritage. Cinco de Mayo, let's do this. And it was a fun game. It was a fun game. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, that's how the character started, and that's how I got. Obviously it's been evolving, right, as time went on.
Right.
But yeah, the passion, for the Preds is always been there. I think is the only thing that I follow, back, when Chemo team, and then I think, you know, Hartnell and, all those guys, when we had Shea Weber, and then we had the tallest tandem goalies, with Becca and the other goalie. Then it's been fantastic. It's been a great ride.
You mentioned the Cinco de Mayo game is when the character really came to life, I guess. When did the poncho with then then the patches coming in, the sombrero, when did all of that start coming into the picture?
So the sombrero came and Cinco de Mayo with the helmet. That
Okay.
was
Yes.
that came right away, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the poncho kind of evolved because I had like a traditional, you know, poncho with different stripes, colorful stripes, which is your typical basic poncho setup, if you will, right?
Uh-huh.
But then over the years, I think a friend of mine actually went to Ensenada, Mexico, and he brought me, he saw this poncho with the Preds logo, and he
Mm,
bought it. A friend of mine from Canada, he bought it for me, and then he gifted it to me, and I was like, oh, this is cool. So I started wearing that with this, with the same helmet, and it started just. It didn't start in every game. I think I was just doing like weekend games or the special occasions game after that. But then over the years, like I say, it started evolving. The past 3 years, I've adapted now more of a character, if you will, and now
right.
becoming to do custom made, like for Hockey Vice Cancer, I have a nice lilac looking,
Mhm.
poncho with a sombrero that matches it. Christmas another one. So those are the things now that as the character uh, evolves, evolution, I think I'm beginning to get a little more thanks. And as
Mm.
the character gains, a little fame and all that. So, uh, yeah, but it's been fantastic. I think, the people receive me well, the fan base, and a lot of people, obviously, they've been, I've seen in Section 310. So a lot of people, it's been constant there, they know me. And, we even do events during the summer, we do all the things. So it's like a family, you know what I mean? I always tell
Absolutely.
my wife and I, we always tell that our life evolves around hockey season. During summer, we just work, 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 and during hockey season, it's like, oh, where are we going? We like to visit different arenas and have different events and such.
Right, right. I mean, you mentioned you met your wife through a lot of this and that it started off with the team in Memphis and then realizing the NHL team was coming to Nashville, making those trips, moving to Nashville. I mean, what's this process been like in, doing this with her? I think I remember at the ice storm game or the snowstorm game. I remember I saw you, her, and then you were able to bring your dog to the game. I mean, like you guys have a pretty tight knit group coming to these games committed to the team. I mean, what's this been like? Not just being able, you mentioned doing this as a community and a family, but what's it been like to kind of grow this character, grow this passion for the team with your wife alongside?
Yeah, she's actually support my madness, I guess, and sometimes she encourage it, not right away. But yes, it's been fun. She's really very supportive, and obviously, she's behind the scenes a lot, taking pictures, and hey, there is an interview here, you should do that, or she does guide me a lot as well, but. Yeah, we actually got married on the Bridgestone Arena.
Really?
Yeah, we played the Columbus Blue Jackets. We played that day, and it was a matinee game. So the Preds were nice enough to allow us to use one of the conference rooms, and that's where we got our ceremony. And then we bought a whole section. At that time, was called the All-Inclusive Zone. I think right now is the Flight Zone or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But we bought a whole section for all the people that came down. And even today, friends go, man, that was the best wedding anniversary I went to because we have food, we have adult beverages, and we have
Right.
music, and we also had a hockey game. And the attire was, look, dress casual. If you have Preds gear, use it. So, but yeah, it was a fantastic.
Oh,
Evening, and then we went on and do after that, our honeymoon was on the Western uh, Canada trip. The Preds were going right after the game, so we ended up going to Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. So obviously, we didn't go down to the to the equator or some
Right.
that
Yeah.
tropical. It was freezing, but it was fantastic. It was great,
Right.
great to see that.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, that's awesome. That's sick. I mean, just being able to do that and connecting with the team. I mean, talked a little bit with Ann Kimmel as well about you and just the impact. I know you guys have met a little bit and talked as well. And uh just I think what's the connection you've been able to make too with some of these players as well. I mean, they definitely know that you're there and have seen you at the games. And I know Ann told me that Michael McCarron loves you. He's one of the guys that's really into it. I mean, what's some of the connections? I mean, have you had some of these conversations with players? Have you got to meet them? And guess, are they aware of just the passion you bring to these games?
It's funny that you say that. I had an opportunity to go to the Las Vegas last night, and obviously,
Yeah.
it's a completely different setup with the players. You know what I mean? So, I had an opportunity, obviously, to talk to Michael McCarron. He genuinely feels like, he wants to get to know you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, great guy. And I think it was last year or the year before, he actually he was on an interview in the locker room with one of the guys, and he he actually mentioned that, that guy, the Predxican, he's a fantastic guy. He's always supporting us. And I was like, what's going on here? Somebody tweeted to me. And I was like, oh, that's great. I appreciate that. And I
Mm.
actually saw, Evangelista is one of my, favorite players as well. The way he plays on the ice with character and all that. So, but, I got to shake his hand and he just said, hey, Predxican, how you doing? And, it's good to know. I'm sure, like you say, that they know that I'm up there.
Of course.
Obviously, some guys, that they're professionals and they're you know into what they're going to do. So, but yeah, when I go to other arenas and I bring the character as well, they know it. They at least go to smile or tap the stick, or sometimes they throw me a pack and stuff like that. So it's fun, and obviously we obviously Chris Mason, fantastic person, and we saw him play. He went to Atlanta, and then he went to St. Louis. Now he's back with the broadcast team. Skill see the same thing. Hal Gill, when he played with us as a defenseman. And I remember seeing him play for the Penguins. The two times against Detroit, and winning the cup with the Penguins. So all those guys that you kind of, build those relationships now that they're not there, you get to know them at a different level. So it is a great, great atmosphere. Like I said, it's,
Mm.
big hockey family, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, one more question before we get into
Sure.
the ad break here. But I know there's a lot to sift through here because you've been with this team for so long and you've been in so many memories, and it feels like every game there's a new memory created. But I mean, are there any fond memories to you that really stick out that just you're like, oh, this has been my favorite?
So one year, uh, we were playing the Detroit Red Wings. They were on the Central Division, right? They were part of rivals. And one year, I think Jason Arnold was the captain at that time, and we played a game. I don't know what happened, but we played a game, and I think we got beaten like 9-0, just a regular game.
Yeah.
And I was very excited and all that, and I was living in Memphis, and
Uh-huh.
I traveled for work, so I had a flight. That was Saturday night, and I had a flight like 1 o'clock in the afternoon the next day on Sunday to to go to work. Uh, and we left. We got our frosties, and all that, and
Of course.
we were about to head the road. It started snowing big
Hmm.
time, and 40. So I started driving down. I got like 20 miles from my house, and we were stuck in the middle of 40.
Oh
4
no.
hours. I think we were there around 3 o'clock in the morning, and the traffic didn't let up or didn't start moving until 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, that day.
Uh-huh.
But we were so full of adrenaline, so excited about the game and the memory that it made. That you know, we really were like, oh, what is that? Oh well, it was, it was, we were still talking. My wife and I were still talking about the game, right? How did that happen? It was one of those things
Right.
early on in the season, that you were like,
Yeah.
whoa. So that's one of the memories that uh, typically I always go to that one. And obviously you got more, like, Stanley Cup finals, Stanley Cup round,
Of
the
course,
All
yeah.
Star, the All Star games met a lot of people as well, a lot of players, right? Uh,
Mhm.
the first time we made it to the, to the second round,
Yeah.
those memories, right? The, the winning against Anaheim Dogs with with Tutu making that assistant to I forgot his name, young guy too, great player as well. Uh, but anyway, Smithson. I think it was Smithson. Smithson is the one that scored, or Tutu scored. He got the assist, but those players. Next thing you know, we go to the next round. It's like, whoa. So those, you have a few memories like that too that kind of
Mhm.
stick out. So
Of course, of course. I mean, those are. I mean, how could you forget something like that, especially with the snow and all that? I mean, that's something that's once in a lifetime. Hopefully, it's a once in a lifetime. Don't get stuck in the snow over again like that. But hey, it seems like y'all made the best of it for sure, for sure. But when we come back, we'll get some of your opinions on the season. I won't grill you too hard at all, but when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about what has been a very unique season here. I'm sure, as you mentioned, the ups and downs, you've seen it before. But when we come back, we'll talk about that a little bit more. That's coming up right after the break.
sure.
The Winter Games are officially here, and if you're anything like us, you're locking in for events you only get to see at the biggest stage every 4 years. And that's why the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense. From medal counts to individual events to finding your angle on the sports that you care about the most, FanDuel gives you more ways to stay connected to the action. The drama of curling matches starts slow and somehow gets intense fast. Speed skating races decided by inches. Hockey games that feel different right from the opening faceoff. Even niche events become must watch when you're fully locked into the competition. FanDuel keeps the entire Olympic experience engaged from start to finish. The Winter Games are on, and there's no better way to follow than them with FanDuel. FanDuel, play your game. There's nothing like being in an NHL arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Game Time has been the go-to app for scoring tickets fast, without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans. I pulled up the Game Time app and picked an upcoming NHL game and had tickets locked in within a minute. Love seeing the all-in upfront prices, so no surprise ticket fees when you go to checkout. Being able to see the seat view from the seats before buying made the decision easy. Zone deals stood out. Choose the section. Game Time picks the seats, and you save. Great last minute options too, with NHL tickets showing up at solid prices. Everything feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not gametime.com. All right, and now we are back to our chat. If you guys are just joining us right now, Ivan Santamaria, aka Predxican, is here with us today, and we're gonna get into some of the nitty gritty a little bit more. And as he mentioned too, just being with this franchise, you're used to the ups and downs, the highs and lows of this team. I mean, this year's been very odd, and just they started out very slow, and you've props you just being passionate throughout all of it, because it started out rough early on this year. Then they're into a pace now where they're starting to win a little bit more, and now they're in a wild card race and have kind of gotten stuck there a little bit more. I mean, from your perspective, a guy that's at if a lot of the home games, if not all of them, I mean, what is your perspective of what you've seen from this team this year?
Well, I think we have a good mix of veterans and young blood. And I feel that it took a little while. I mean, we have leadership, right? I mean, you got stickers, you have, you know, other former captains that were the player franchises for a long, long
Mm.
time. So used to assist them. Example that I typically use is, it's like somebody, I'm going to use myself, I worked for a company for 20 years, and
Mm.
5 years ago decided to change jobs. So while you know your skill, while you know your job and you're good about your job, which is, in this case, the hockey players, right? It takes a little while for you to blend into the new organization, for you to who you go to and things like that. So I feel that that's kind of what happened with this team, just last year or the year before. But now I think we're beginning to see now what this team can do. Uh, Also, let's do, you know, St. Louis was an example. They were also crawling to their, to the playoffs lives. The next thing you know, they raised, Morgan Stanley. The same thing that happened to us with in 2017 when we were just crawling trying to get a pace. And next thing you know, we're playing for the prize. So I want to keep the faith, but I
Absolutely.
do feel that this is a team that I believe is going to do great things. If it's not this year, hopefully we keep him intact. Uh, because there is a good blend. I mean, I've noticed Stammer. I mean, he basically now has changed his the way he plays.
Right.
I started seeing it recently that it was, I wouldn't say recently, obviously he's now, I feel that he's a full drink guy. You see him, he's not just in his office anymore. Now he's getting out and, looking for the pack and,
Right.
and things like that. So, that's an evolution. Obviously it didn't happen overnight. We wish it would have, but, but that is an evolution. The same thing with, I feel that it is the team blends well, and I think they all like each other, and they play for each other, which that's the recipe that you need
Hmm.
to conquer.
Absolutely, absolutely. As you mentioned too, that this isn't a new pattern at all. This is something that you've seen before. It's happened in the franchise before, to where they've crawled to get to be somewhere successful. So it's all about that uphill climb. It's going to take a second sometimes to get there. But I wanted to ask you too about one of the games this season that I think you played a very integral part to their success, whether or not it may be in there. That was the 4-goal comeback against the Blues, and I remember this specifically because there was a point where they didn't play any of the music during the pauses. They just went off a crowd noise, and whenever it got quiet, they'd show you on the jumbotron, and the arena would immediately erupt. And you played a big role in just getting that energy hyped up into the arena even more. So I mean, tell me a little bit about that game. I mean, they kept showing you there, the hype just kept going. I remember hearing you in my left ear and just hearing you just getting so passionate and excited about the whole thing. I mean, man, what do you remember about that game? I mean, it's one of the craziest games I've ever seen.
No, it's true. I mean, and it's been a few like that, that crazy comebacks like that. And, one of the things that I always tell people, don't leave because you just never know.
Right.
You just never know. But yeah, that game it was. I mean, I felt that the energy was down, but I mean, I always try to. Okay, you just never know, right? You
Right.
just gotta hit it right? And this, the Preds have always had like, okay, here comes second period. Oh man, can we skip that period, right? Or man, we're down 2-0. We need to score one more because 2-0 usually is not a good combination. That's how the seasons have been throughout the years, right?
Right.
So this time it's like, we're 5-0. We know we're coming back. That's kind of how the fate has been. Granted, you don't want to do that. I think this
Of
time it was
course.
like, uh, this time I have noticed, and I'm sure everybody has noticed, first minute, we're down already, we last 3 minutes. Great, yeah, we're
Yeah.
good now. So anyway, but yeah, that game. Yeah, it was, I'm glad the crowd, got us back into your point about, no music, nothing. I mean, that was one of the staples that Bridgestone had, the Smashville had, you know,
Uh,
the TV timeouts, that especially during the playoffs, the people were just roaring, and based on what I hear from the guys, they when they're interviews, it's like, the smash from they really feed from that energy, and I want to believe it is, that they do
Absolutely.
when we all bring it, when we all get loud, they feel that they're, we are behind them, and obviously they feed from that energy, I love my seat because now. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm typically standing. I mean, I get
Yeah.
so intense that I'm just standing, and even I hear the Spanish radio half, and they go, sometimes they go, and I hear them go, yeah, looks like your Predxican wants to get in there up there. Let him in. It's just, it's just, Plus, when I see it, obviously the media loves it too because they can see it. They
Of
see the
course, yeah.
timeline, so you can see a game develop. You know, Obviously you see it on both sides, right? But the
Right.
game develop, the pass, how they come, and they're like, oh man, that's gonna go in. So the anticipation of it is just phenomenal.
hmm Um, just some things I also pick up when I hear throughout the games as well. How massive will it be for you if UC Saros scores a goal this year?
Oh, well, I don't know. You probably hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Typically, yeah, typically, when we are in power play, they kind of he plays the pack. I'm always like, shoot it,
Riches.
and
Yeah.
shoot it, yes, yeah. But anyway, yeah. Well, yeah, I will definitely go crazy, if that happens. So, uh,
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that and I mean another like I think I saw you win it that the St. Louis game. It might have been Minnesota. I cannot remember, but how many times have you won that Hunt Brothers fan of the game pizza?
So I think it's like my fourth time that I have
You're
won
more
it through
fun.
the years. Yeah, so
Okay.
but I like it. Hey, sometimes you lose it against a baby. Nobody can compete
Yeah.
with a baby, right?
That's true.
So that's so yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun with that happening. Believe me, I cash in.
That's always good. I mean, yeah, I see your tweets and just getting it. They have a lot. They have so many BOGOs and good deals anytime anything happens. And I see you're a big proponent of the frosty, the sandwich. And I'm like, and I mean that's good. You gotta like whatever they give you, you gotta get on top of all that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I used to love the Google because it was a beautiful, quick chat, getting Google. I mean, yeah, the Googles, the little clusters, that when you're in
Oh, the Google.
school,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I used to love this. I remember one time, one guy in my section said, well, I think we didn't get Google's this season or whatever, or we only got one or two. He actually bought me a box of Google's. He said, there you go, man. Well, thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But one last question for this segment here and then we'll get into the final one. But going back to the team, do you think this team could make the playoffs this year?
It's a tall order, but I do believe that they are on the right mindset. Uh, I think yes. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
I think yes. With it, obviously the stars have to align, but I think they have what it takes. Mathematically, like I say, it's a tall order, but I do believe that if we get help from other teams as well, we, probably
Oh
get in
yeah.
there. And then you just never know. It'd be great with, if we can make some noise. Like I said, they can get help at the right time, right? So, and we've seen it. So, it would be great if they can do that for Barry Trotz on his last contract year. That would be,
Of course.
phenomenal because he's got his fingerprints on it. So yeah, it would be fantastic if they can,
Mhm.
gather and push for it, which I'm sure they will. And I'm sure they're hungry for it, and go back to the same. These guys, they have leadership roles. Some of them already have the ring, so they know what it takes to be there, the pains and aches that they got to go through. Uh, so I feel they would have the character of the locker room to
Mm.
get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And just it is a tall order. It is a little bit of a big ask right now, but I mean the pieces are still there. And like you said, if you get help with some of the teams in front of you, they could get rolling for sure. They just need to do what they need to do and win, and that's what they need to do in order to ramp it up and potentially have a chance. But before we get to the last ad break, I want to talk to you guys about the Everyday Club. First, thank you for making Locked On Predators your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the number one sports net podcast network. Already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad free. Join the Everyday Club and get Locked On Predators, no interruptions, members only Discord access, and more. All for just $5 a month, $50 a year. Go to lockedonpredators.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. When we come back, Ivan's going to give his best advice on what it takes to become a super fan and just all the tips you need if you want to develop your own character, maybe rival Predxican a little bit more or not. But he's going to give his best advice and what to know and what you just the how to and becoming a super fan. All that is coming up right after the final ad break. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look back at the messier part of how we run our businesses and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. I love how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number, so nothing gets missed. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. It works right from your phone or computer, so you can even keep your existing number. And with Quo's smart AI tools automatically logging calls, summarizing conversations, and highlighting next steps, details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this a year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/lockedonnhl. That's quo.com/lockedonnhl. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. All right, so time for kind of some bestowing of knowledge a little bit here. I'm going to start off kind of broad here, but say someone comes along and they say, I want to be a super fan for my team. It doesn't need to be Predators, it could be any team. But I mean, the basic tips and advice that you have for someone wanting to go into this, what are the basics that they should know?
Well, the basic is being loyal to your team, right? And show the passion for the team and stick with it. The other one is just be yourself. Let the character evolve, organic, if you will. Don't put pressure on yourself. Just be you, and that's kind of what makes it unique, right? That I tap into my culture and obviously the culture of hockey, and just trying to be me. At the end of the day, I feel the ups and downs, the passion for the team and the excitement of the game. So to me, that's what fueled me, obviously, right? The games and the excitement of the game.
And I mean,
You
absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think that's the best thing is just to be you and just, embrace it all. I mean, and how much fun is it to just be a super fan and all of this? I mean, it's a commitment for sure. And, there's a lot of, time put into it as well. But I mean, just how fun is it to be, not just take on this character, but, be at the games, be so familiar with the team. And as you mentioned, just have it be a big part of your life. How enjoyable has this been?
Oh, it's to me. I think it's in my DNA now. It's really, I have embraced it, and I'm always thinking that I miss it. Like right now with Olympic breaks, it's like when is hockey coming back? We need hockey.
Exactly.
The Preds do a good job during the summer trying to get us involved. The fan base with all the things. Like the foundation is deeply involved in the community and also doing different events during the summer. That, you feel, even though you're not looking at a game, you still feel connected, the whole year, you know. And like I said, all the relationships and friendships that I have built, that we have built throughout the years, we always like, hey, I got a lake house, come on over, let's party, we do things like that with other season ticket holders as well.
Mm. One final big question here. What is one thing that you look forward to every time you get to go to these games? You get to put on that poncho, the helmet. What is the one thing that you look forward to in doing all of that?
I think it's the crowd and, be able to shake hands and see, friends and other fan bases, and others. And even, the opposite teams, there is people, especially people that come from Canada and visiting, when they see it, it's like, hey, can I take a picture? Of course, I mean, I played with them a little bit, covered their logo on the jersey, or
Of
one
course.
of these. But I mean, it's all in the fun games because the way I see it is, if we don't have an opposite team, there will not be games, right? so and I always, tell them, hey, may the best team win, so I think
Absolutely.
it opens up a little more open. It's funny you say that. One time I wasn't wearing my outfit, but I have a jersey that, one jersey says Predxican at the back, and I was in Colorado. I went to a game, and this guy goes, "Hey man, how you doing? This man, hey, you president? Yeah, let's take a picture." So we took a picture. Then the same season, I went to Philly, with a few season ticket holders, and they see me walking around also, and these other people go, "Hey man, my cousin met you in Colorado. How you doing? Hey, can we take a picture?" I was like, "Whoa," that was a good thing
Right.
looking back. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's what fueled me, I guess. That's kind of, that to me is what I look forward to. Not only with our Smash Group community or Logic Legion, all start to be an ambassador for the, for our fan base, with other team base, with other team fans. Because you just
Mhm.
never know, like I said, with this
Of
Colorado
course.
and that.
Of course. I mean, yeah, those interactions just awesome. And just you're like a celebrity. People are finding you on the street and coming up to you. And even when you're not in all of it. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my God.
Yeah, I
Oh my
went to a
God.
soccer game the other day. He goes, there's one guy that he goes, I know you, he's like, oh yeah, yeah, hey, how you doing? Then I started having
Right.
a conversation with him, yeah, because when I go to soccer games, I also have a jersey,
Right.
for the NSC, but it says Predxican as well. And then sometimes people just take pictures, and I'm like, hey, who are you spotting? I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? So it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's all just great. And I mean, yeah, like I said, just seeing you at the games and from the press box and from my experience seeing you from the games, hearing you over in my left ear and looking over and stuff like that. It's a treat and so exciting to see the passion you offer to this game and bring to this game. It's exciting. And I mean, yeah, it's just a lot of fun to see all of it. So again, Ivan, thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there anywhere that people can find you? Like, can they follow you somewhere like on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah, I have both. I have Twitter and Instagram, and it's at Predxican98. That's the handle at Predxican98, which is,
Oh,
obviously the character name and the year that the Preds came alive.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But again, Ivan, aka Predxican, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been a blast. Section 311, correct?
310.
310. So if you want to find him, want to take pictures, or hopefully don't give him a hard time, 310 is where he'll be at. And he's a passionate guy. He's a great guy. It's very happy that he's able to come here on the podcast today. But as for me, I am Jack Williams. You can find all my stuff at Jack G Williams on Twitter/X. All my written work is Hockey News Nashville Predators, Jack Williams. And hey, if you guys are interested just on Locked On Predators, we're LO_Predators on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're just Locked On Predators. And again, Everyday Club, $5 a year, no, $5 a month, excuse me, $50 a year. That is ad-free audio, members only Discord access, and more. If you want to take up your listening experience to the next level, go with the Everyday Club. Again, thank you to Predxican, Ivan, for coming here. Thank you to all of y'all for listening. Very appreciative of all. Thank you for the conversations that we are having. Love chatting with y'all. And this is going to be the weekend episode. So we will see y'all next week on another episode of the Locked On Predators
Appreciate it. Thank
podcast.
you. It's been an honor.